These decisions were often made by pontifices, religious officials who had the power to lengthen or shorten the calendar to favor political outcomes. This led to widespread confusion and made it difficult for the general population to track dates and plan agricultural or civic activities. The system had fallen out of sync with the solar year. And by the time of Julius Caesar's rule, the misalignment was significant enough to warrant drastic corrections. Caesar, advised by the Alexandrian astronomer Sosigenes, sought to create a calendar that would be based on a solar year rather than the lunar cycle. The solar year, or the time it takes the Earth to complete one orbit around the Sun, was understood to be slightly longer than 365 days. Sosigenes recommended adopting a calendar of 365 days, with an additional day added every fourth year to account for the fractional discrepancy, creating what would later be known as a leap year. This system approximated the solar year with much greater accuracy than its predecessor. To realign the calendar with the seasons, the year of implementation was extended dramatically. The year 46 before the Common Era was made to include 445 days by inserting multiple intercalary months. This drastic measure effectively reset the calendar, aligning it properly with the solar cycle and restoring the intended timing of the festivals and agricultural events. From that point forward, the Julian calendar would feature 12 months of fixed lengths: January, March, May, July, August, October, and December would each have 31 days. April, June, September, and November would have 30 days, and February would have 28 days, with a 29th day added every fourth year. One of the key innovations of the Julian calendar was the regularization of leap years. Every fourth year, an additional day would be added to February, making that year 366 days long. This approach provided a straightforward mechanism to approximate the actual solar year, which is approximately 365 and 1/4 days. While the system was not perfect, it represented a significant improvement over earlier calendars and provided a reliable framework for managing civic, agricultural, and religious life. The Julian calendar was gradually adopted throughout the Roman Empire and became the standard for timekeeping in the Western world for more than 16 centuries. Its influence extended far beyond the borders of Rome, shaping the calendars of numerous cultures and societies. Over time, however, The small discrepancy between the Julian calendar and the actual solar year began to accumulate. The Julian year was approximately 11 minutes longer than the solar year, which meant that over the course of centuries, the calendar began to drift out of alignment with the equinox and solstices. This drift had significant implications for the calculation of Christian holidays, particularly Easter, which was tied to the timing of the vernal equinox. By the 16th century, the cumulative error had reached approximately 10 days. The cumulative error had reached approximately 10 days, prompting Pope Gregory XIII to introduce a new reform, the Gregorian calendar. Introduced in the year 1582, corrected the drift by adjusting the leap year rules and eliminating 10 days from the calendar to realign it with the solar year. Despite this reform, the Julian calendar continued to be used in many parts of the world for centuries. The Julian calendar remains in use today in some religious and cultural contexts. Several Eastern Orthodox churches continue to follow the Julian calendar for the calculations of liturgical dates and holidays. As a result, celebrations such as Christmas and Easter are observed on different dates than those in Western Christian traditions that follow the Gregorian calendar. The persistence of the Julian calendar in these communities reflects its enduring cultural and spiritual significance, even in the face of more precise astronomical alternatives. The legacy of the Julian calendar is evident in the names and lengths of the months we still use today. For example, the month of July was renamed in honor of Julius Caesar, while August was renamed after his predecessor, Augustus. These months were assigned 31 days to reflect the prestige of their namesakes. This legacy is a testament to the enduring influence of Roman political and cultural authority on subsequent generations. In addition to its practical and political implications, the Julian calendar also represents a moment of scientific advancement. The decision to base the calendar on the solar year, informed by observations of calculation from Hellenistic astronomy, marked a significant step towards the modern scientific understanding of time. It demonstrated a commitment to empirical observation and rational organization, principles that would later underpin the development of the modern scientific method. The Julian calendar also had a profound impact on historical chronology and the recording of events. With standardized and widely adopted systems of timekeeping, it became possible to more accurately document the passage of time, coordinate events across vast territories, and preserve historical records in a consistent format. This facilitated the development of more coherent historical narratives and enabled the synchronization of civic, religious, and agricultural schedules across the empire. Despite its eventual replacement in most parts of the world, the Julian calendar's influence remains visible in many aspects of contemporary life. The names of the months, the structure of the year, and even the concept of leap years all trace their origins to the reforms initiated by Julius Caesar. Moreover, the debates and discussions that surrounded the calendar reforms of both the Julian and Gregorian systems highlight the complex interplay between science, religion, and politics in shaping how societies understand and measure time. The transition from the Julian to the Gregorian calendar was not immediate or universal. Many countries resisted the change for political, religious, or practical reasons. Protestant regions in particular were initially suspicious of a calendar introduced by the Catholic Church. As a result, the adoption of the Gregorian calendar occurred gradually over several centuries. Britain and its colonies, for example, did not make the switch until the mid-18th century, by which time the discrepancy had grown to 11 days. This delay led to public confusion and protests, with some people believing that they had lost days from their lives. In the Eastern Orthodox world, resistance to the Gregorian reform was even more profound. Many Orthodox churches continued to use the Julian calendar for liturgical purposes, creating a dual calendar system in which civil and religious observations followed different timelines. This coexistence of calendars reflects the enduring cultural and theological distinctions that continue to shape religious identity and practice. The Gregorian calendar, widely used across most of the modern world, stands as one of the most influential time-keeping systems in history.